Okay. Hello there, everyone. Right, I'm just checking to make sure my microphone is working. Okay, change it to that. Should that be? Yeah, that should be working now. That actually should sound a little bit better for you. Are we all up and running? Hi there, Sarah. How are you? I'm hoping you can hear me okay. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Rebecca. Perfect. Oh, hi, Suzanne. Coffee in hand. Oh, that sounds like a good idea, Suzanne. You know what? I should have made myself one, shouldn't I? I haven't had a coffee yet this morning. I'm not quite sure why. Been on the water. That's what I shall do when I've finished with you here. I shall go and put the kettle on immediately, I think, and have myself a coffee. Okay, who have we got? We've got, hi, Bonnie. Looking forward to seeing the new layering dies. Yes. And hi, Laurie. Oh, it's lovely to have you here, Laurie. I forget to say hello to you because you've been with me for the last few weeks now, haven't you? So it's nice to have you here. A sunny, pretty day in Media. Media, is that the name of your town in Pennsylvania? Is it, Laurie? Sounds lovely, especially if it's sunny. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Mum. How are you? Hi, Teresa. Hi, Jean. Oh, it's sunny up in Derbyshire as well. Teresa. Lovely. It's not sunny here today. Canoes needed in where Evelyn is living. Oh, yeah, I can probably relate to that a little bit more. It's not raining today, but oh my goodness, the amount of rain that we've had. And it's cold as well. It's just miserable. Okay, so let's get going. We've got a few of you here, actually. Thanks for joining me today. Now, today's live is a little bit different. I'm going to be a little bit naughty and just give you little peeks of some of these things. Because what I really wanted to do on request, or by request from Lisa, is to just introduce to you these brand new flower layering dies and 2 new sets of paper. Now, you may have seen in our group and on the Lisa Horton Crafts page as well, that there is a new live being introduced to this week, just to start with, and Lisa's just going to test the grounds and see how it's going to go. And once she's tested this and ironed out any sort of little teething problems and just sort of set up logistics and whatever, then there may be a new way of shopping that's going to come quite regularly to us from Lisa. So as most of you know, Lisa's had the majority of August off. It doesn't mean she hasn't been working, and to be fair to Lisa, if you give Lisa any time off, her brain carries on working overtime, and it just gives her more of an opportunity to think of new things, perhaps do a little bit of designing in the background, and come up with these brand new ideas where we can have new lives and new shopping events with us. So yes, Lisa and Danny have been enjoying some time off and being able to get out and about and enjoy the weather down where they are, which is absolutely perfect. But as I say, the business and crafting is never far from Lisa's mind, and there is always she's always thinking of new ways to improve how we can bring all these products to you also. And now we have an Adam on board. It's freed up a lot of Lisa's time, and any ideas that Lisa may have, we've got an Adam there to put them into practice. Whether they're some trickier ideas or not, but we all need an Adam, and I think this is definitely the way it's going forwards. Lisa's time has been freed up basically, so we have this new event coming on Thursday. It's at 7 o'clock on, I think it's only the Lisa Horton Crafts page. I think there's some logistical errors or logistical reasons why it can't go into the group, but I have a feeling that Adam may be working on that, and if it can be put into the Crafting with Lisa Horton group, then he will do. But it's definitely on the Lisa Horton Crafts page. I'm going to let Lisa explain how it all works on Thursday. I'm not entirely sure myself, but I think it's going to make the process of buying these new kits a lot straightforward, and it's going to be a lot of information and sort of direct links straight into your email, so you then have direct links to your shopping cart, I think. As I say, I'll let Lisa explain all of that for you on Thursday. It isn't replacing her Friday Night Lives, which I think is going ahead this week, but not next week. So this really is just an added extra. Yeah, and let's just get into what Lisa's brought to us. We've got 6 brand new products here. So we have 4 sets of layering dies, which are beautiful. They're an A6 size. You can see by the size of them next to my hand there. They are all floral. So we have a Fantasy Bloom, we have the Magnolia, the Anemone, and the Echinacea. So there are 4 sets, and we have 2 sets of design papers to go with these as well, which will be perfect to use with your florals and every other set that Lisa's bought with us. So we have the Shabby Chic. These are A5 sizes. So you can see this, we have an A6 package for the dies there. So this is an A5 sheet. We have 48 sheets in both sets, 200 GSM cardstock, but to be honest, it feels a little bit heavier to me than that. It's lovely to work with, and if you know and have used Lisa's paper in the past or Lisa's cardstock in the past, then you'll know what great quality this is. We also have the second set here, which is a splash of colour. So I'll show you through these. They are so pretty. They and I'm going to really struggle to cut into them. So yeah, they are really, really gorgeous. And then I'll just show you just a couple of these sets. I won't show you everything. Again, I'll leave that to Lisa to introduce everything for you. I just wanted to whet your appetite a little bit to show you just what is available with these. So I'm going to remove these slide there. I'll perhaps if I remember, I'll pop it up at the end. So the event is on Thursday. It's this Thursday this week. It's 7 o'clock UK time, as you can see here, and we have the corresponding times, international times for you there as well. So that's on the Lisa Horton Crafts channel. So I'm just going to take that away so we have the whole screen to work into. Okay. Right, so we have our flower dies here, but what I want to do is just show you through these papers. Now I've used I've used one sheet from here. I could have used, I've used a couple of sheets from here as well. I really couldn't face cutting into them really. I really should. And if you tune in on Thursday night, Lisa will also have lots of samples from the rest of the design team, and from, I think it might be around about lunchtime on Thursday in the Lisa Horton Crafts group, this Facebook group, all the design team will start showing their samples there too. So there is so much you can do. As I say, I'm just whetting your appetite, just showing you a little bit of the construction today. What the team has done with these is absolutely amazing. So we'll start off with the splash of colour, the cardstock here. So we have 48 sheets, and if I just turn that to the side there and just give you a quick flick through, we've got all the colours available. Now what Lisa has done in this set in particular, she's given us like a tie-dye type of design, which is so pretty. It's a really, really lovely palette. It's a colour palette that you'd expect from Lisa. It's really usable, ideal for all your florals, but it's just so bright and cheery as well. But what she's given us like this tie-dye effect, or this marbled colour effect. But then she's also gone on to give us a solid colour to tie into that as well. Now the way that these are paired, it's purely because I had to go into the package in a particular way, but the same colour palette has been used all the way through. So this solid colour will match up with a tie-dye colour or one of the pattern papers further down. You can see the yellows also match that as well. So the same colours run all the way through the paper pack, so everything can be mixed and matched. So we have this lovely colour, and this is ideal for die cutting, particularly your layering dies here, these new ones, because some of these dies are really very small, and it gives you the opportunity to fussy cut and fussy cut and die cut the little components for your flowers anywhere on your page. If you don't want to do that and you just want to sort of literally line it up and get potluck, then again, you can do that also. But you do have the option to mix and match. So again, we have a similar sort of style on all the pages here, but different colours and just different layouts. And you can see the colours again are going all the way through. So we have this lovely solid colour, which is really important for your matting and layering. And as I say, perfect to just matte and lay, even with these colours here. So we also have the purples and the pinks, because I know there are many of you out there that like your purples and pinks. So Lisa included, and we have a gorgeous candy pink there, and that just looks so lovely layered, doesn't it? And you can see that the tone of pink in the patterns do match the colours there. So I'll just go through these quickly. As I say, all of these items are available either as a package, so you can buy the whole bundle, and I think that will be under a particular item code, or I think it's going to be using names for them as well. So you can shop the show and you can get the whole bundle. So that's all 4 dies and the cardstock also. But also I think they are available individually. So if you want to buy the show and then perhaps stock up on extra paper cardstock packs, then you can do that also. But isn't that really nice? That just reminds me of ice cream. And this is a salmony pink as opposed to a candy pink. So if I just show you the difference there, I mean, they look lovely together anyway, but yeah, it's a real salmony pink. This one here is also really pretty. You have all the greens there. But again, if I just bring in that pink, you can also put that with that, and you can also put that with the green. Even if I turn that around, and you can do your layers like that. You know, the colours are say uniform, not uniform, they are very coordinating right across all the packs. You can see the little bit of purple here would match with a little bit of purple, you know, the purple that we can use down here also. And so this is the last colour. I've used this one actually on one of my cards. This is really pretty. So that's the splash of colour. Gorgeous colours, and these are quite nice colours to match in with cardstock that you will possibly have in your stash also, particularly the textured cardstock that Lisa has brought to us in the past too. So I just want to go on to the Shabby Chic, and I'll show you through this briefly also. Again, Lisa will show you this in more detail, and she'll show you samples on how these are used. Now, this particular set is one that I would really struggle to cut into, and I think I might just have to sit and look at it for a little while. So the Shabby Chic, so it's a lot more muted tones, and this is just, oh, this is just perfect. I love this. This is like wooden flooring, or like whitewash board that you see down on the coast. It is so pretty, and it's a great neutral for any backgrounds. So what Lisa has done actually with this, we have a lot of these sort of panelled cardstocks on this one, a lot more of the panelled designs. But then we also have these more muted, and if you can see this one, this is so pretty. Again, we have like a strip of pink running through it, but there's slightly green as well. And this would be ideal to stamp onto and create different effects and backgrounds. So on other lives, I think I might actually do this. I might do some stenciling with this, do some stamping, and just sort of really use this as a good base to create a background. So we have those. Okay. I mean, are you interested in seeing this? I mean, I'm talking you through it because I really like these, and I really like sort of sharing these designs as well. So we also have another paneling, which is a slightly different colorway, but again, really important. It's a slightly different colorway to that, as you can see. Slightly different, but it's a really nice neutral again, so it works really well with my background that I've got here. And then we also see here, you can see a bit more of the patterning going on. It's a bit more of a distressed background, again perfect to stamp onto and create different backgrounds. The size of the card, this A5 Suzanne, the size of the card. Let me just get a ruler to this for you. So both packs are the same size, so it is 5.5 inches by 8.25 inches. So it's a really lovely size to use. You could actually even use these. It's not quite heavyweight enough to create a card blank, but if you were to fold this in half, it would easily cover oh, got little bits coming out there. My organisation would go, but yeah, if you wanted to sort of fold this in half, it would be really nice sort of notelet size to use. So we have the blue paneling this way, which is really pretty. I mean, these are just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I would be looking to create backgrounds like this myself, so this is why this has really spoke to me. And this one, I could just paper one a room in this. This is my absolute favourite. It's got lots of neutrals in it. It's got a little bit of lilac, and the blue in this is just stunning. So think about using your painted eggshell inks on this as well. This would look absolutely gorgeous. So that, I mean, if I could just have a whole pack of that, I would be happy. So that is really pretty. Then we go on to like a turquoisey duck egg sort of colour with a lot more distress looking on there. And these panels are slightly smaller, as you can see. So we go in yeah, slightly different shade. And then say these backgrounds, they are all similar colour palettes, so you could lay these up two together. They would really work like that. But the patterns and the backgrounds on them are very different. Again, you have this one, which is a really nice neutral. I've actually used this one, I think, in the card that I'm making. again, this one is just so pretty. Again, I think it's this one and this one are my two absolute favourites. Again, I would absolutely look to make backgrounds like this for myself, but having these already printed for me, I wouldn't need to. But it'll be a great way to stamp on them and stencil on them, just to enhance them that little bit more. So they're quite bluey and pinky. And then we come on to the pink set here. Again, the pinks still match the designs that we have up the top here. And then we have these ones also. Let me just, out of interest, I have a feeling that the pinks and even some of these purples would match the same colour palette that we have here. So you could introduce and mix and match with the other cardstocks here. And the colours, if you were to sort of match them up right, I think they would, you'd be able to use them across the board. So you get so many different options for your matting and layering. So there are your two cardstock packs. Now again, they will be available individually. They are available on the website to look at now. You can't order them from now, and they won't be live to order until the live begins on Thursday at 7 o'clock. But they are there for you to go and have a look at and sort of plan your shopping basket perhaps before you get there. So 2 paper packs. Is there anything else that you wanted to know about that? Yes, it's 200 GSM, Laurie. It says that on the front here. So 200 GSM. To me, it feels like a little bit thicker. It's such a lovely weight, and it will be beautiful to die cut with and to construct your flowers. They are all single-sided, which again is a bonus, because there's nothing worse than having double-sided and you have the most pretty designs on both sides. And what do you use? That's torture. So we have 48 sheets in both as well. I've also noticed that there is a QR code on the back of most of the products these days, and if you scan this, this will also take you directly to our YouTube channel. And again, there will be inspiration over the coming weeks using these brand new products, but there is already lots of inspiration on there using all the other different products, and there'll be ways that you can transfer the techniques that are already onto YouTube to the products that we have here. Now I shall give you another quick look at what we've got here, and then I'll get into some demos because I've been chatting a lot, and Lisa will be going through all this for you tomorrow. So I won't be using all of these today. As I say, I'll leave some of that for Lisa tomorrow, and she'll go through probably in a lot more detail. So we have the Fantasy Bloom that I'm using today. I'm also going to be using the Echinacea, but we also have the Magnolia and the Anemone, which are beautiful. I really like the simplicity of this one, just the single flower, but then you can play around with the colours on these, and you can lay them up and create bouquets. Use your vase dies that we've had in the past to create flower displays in them. You know, there's so many different ideas. So I think let's get making, shall we? Right, the first one I think I'll use the Echinacea. So I've already die cut the pieces, and I shall leave that there for you. Let's bring this in. Right, I should do my best to show you all these little pieces. So I'm not the daintiest when it comes to this. But this is where we use our tweezers, our fine tip tweezers from Lisa, which I've never used so much in my life. And also the fine tip glue, which is a godsend. I've only just started using this, but I do actually find Lisa's tips for her high-tech glue work just as well, because although the tip is slightly larger, the control of the glue through the nozzle there, I find works really well also. So for this one, we're using the Echinacea, and let me show you the dies. Now, just because these packets are smaller, say they're A6 size themselves, you get an awful lot of dye, depending on the design actually though. If you need a die to cut a particular piece, then Lisa will give it to us. So this particular set, you get an awful lot of dies here. You do get little tips on the back on how to construct them and the order in which they go, which is actually really useful, because if you see this for the first time, you can be a little bit daunted. But we have two sets of dies here which look exactly the same, and they create the two different flowers which are different sizes. So, and I think they are slightly different in shape also. But what I'm going to do, I've used just one of the sets of these dies and just one of the branches here to create the flowers. So I'm going for this flower here. So you can see that I've used, yeah, we can see that here. Let's get myself organised because there's lots of little bits. Okay, so I've used this die here to die cut my branch. Okay, and you can see just how fine that detail is. And if I can just show you, I don't know if you can see the detail of these dies. Not only do they cut your shape out, but some of them will actually emboss some detail into there for you. So you don't have just a flat die. So where there is, where Lisa thinks we need detail to be added, the dies will actually emboss that in there for you also. So we're going to have that, and I'm going to layer this onto a piece of this wooded cardstock here. Now, I did pull out an embossing folder as well, and I'm just wondering whether it would be a good idea to emboss this also. What do you think? I haven't embossed it, but should we just give it a go? For one, it will show you that it embosses beautifully as well. I'm pretty sure that it will. But two, we have a wood grain embossing folder. So let's see how that works. And I'll just show you that again before we go. It doesn't actually need to. It's lovely cardstock and we've got lovely detail on there. If you were stenciling onto this, then perhaps you wouldn't emboss. But let me just give that a go. I'm going to emboss that. So I'm just going to line that up in my natural wood grain embossing folder. Now I'm using this one obviously because it's sort of the natural choice, but it doesn't mean you have to do that. You could use a completely different embossing folder. So if you can see there, that just adds a little bit more detail there, which just gives it a really nice weathered look. I'll just turn it over. You can see that it has been embossed now, but you can see just how well that takes the emboss as well. And it does just give that little bit extra detail on there. So that would go on to the front of our card there. So let me just, we'll try and stick these on as we go along. Okay, so that's just cut there. Now this is a C6 card that I'm making there. So you can just see, even on a card itself, it's just, I really like that. Just as a background, you don't really need to do a huge amount more. So, okay, I'm going to start bringing the flower in. This is just really simple and straightforward die cutting. I'm not doing anything too fancy with this at all. So I'm just die cutting the pieces for the flower. And I'm literally just adding them directly to the card. I'm not matting and layering them on anything. So we've got our flower there, which I can put straight onto my cardstock. Now I have the different layers for the flowers here. You can see that, yeah. And you can see the way that Lisa has laid that out for us. So I have 1, 2, and 3. Now I have actually added an extra layer because these two layers layer on top of each other, and you can see this yellow layer that I'm putting on top has the die cuts out of it, so you can have that two-tone effect, but you don't have to use that. You can use one or other to layer onto that solid piece like that. So that is entirely up to you. You've got that choice on how you want to die cut. And then we have the center of the flower, which is what we know makes the Echinacea flower, and that can go into the middle. And I've actually used the satin cardstock for that, not the newest one, because the colors weren't quite right for what I've die cut here. So I'm just going to layer this flower, and actually, unusually for me, I've actually gone with the colors that Lisa has given us on the packaging. I didn't really think about that too much. These were the colors that I would have I reached for anyway, particularly once I'd pulled out the wood grain paper here. So I'm going to layer those two, and you can see that darker color is coming through those cutouts. And then I can layer this onto the background. Now I'm using glue to put these onto directly, but on some of these larger areas you could always use silicone glue to give it that 3D effect, or some of your smaller foam pads as well. And I can put the center in the flower in the center there. So for these flowers I would have used these 3 dies. The center of the flower is this little die here, and I'll just lift that to the camera again for you in a second, because if I lift that die for you, you will see that there's some detail in there which is actually going to emboss into the cardstock. And if I just raise that up and just tilt that a little bit, there you go, you can see that detail in there, which I think for such a small die to give us that amount of detail, I think is just a rise above. It's just next level from Lisa. So we have that can fit, and that can sit onto our cardstock there. So that sits, well, that sits on the center one. It doesn't have to be. It's entirely up to you how you create your flowers. So the next thing we need to do is just create these 2 little buds that are sitting on the side here. Now the dies for this I'll just show you, and again, the first time you do this, I think you will perhaps just take your time and just figure out where the dies are. But on the back here it shows you how these buds are made. So we have like the oval shape, which would be this one here, and you can create them in 2 sizes, and I'm going with a larger size. Then we have the yellow, which is number 2, and you can tell by that shape that that is this die here. So, and I've already die cut these shapes already, so I don't need to do that. And the 3rd shape is this die here. So hopefully you can see that. Oh yeah, you can just about see those sitting there, and that will give us our little die cut shape like that. This is what we are trying to create. So let me just hold that up to the top for you, and you can see that we have a little bit of orange just poking into the center there, the yellow and the green. So that is how we're going to layer that. So we take our yellow with the cutout areas pointing upwards, but again, I think if you can make it work in another way, in another particular configuration, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from changing that. So we're going to just glue the yellow onto the orange there. Excuse my fat fingers, I'm really not very graceful when it comes to this type of thing. So these tweezers are a godsend. So I'm just going to layer the green on the bottom. So we have our bud. So we have one bud that we can have sitting just there, and bud number 2 sitting just there. So if I can just add a little bit of glue, add one there. Now there's nothing stopping you creating more of these buds and using them to dot them around. You can just use them like confetti, or perhaps the one buds that may have fallen onto the ground. Because these are all separate dies, you can actually create any of these separate elements and just use them in themselves. And I'll show you, I think there's something that I've done a little bit later on that is exactly that. So then we can just put our birthday greeting onto the side here. This is die cut from one of the XL dies, you know, the new dies that we've had. It's not the newest ones that have been released. It's the birthday ones that were released a little bit sooner, but they're part of the same set. So the set contains, I think it's happy and birthday, but I've just chosen to go with the birthday. And we can add that onto the side there. And that makes a super quick, cute little card using the Echinacea die just there. And you can say I've used the colours that Lisa's used, but I think that really works. And that background of the Shabby Chic wood grain is just perfect from that. Hi Jennifer, from a hot Florida. Oh, that sounds lovely. So we have that Echinacea then. So the other set that I want to use and just show you today is the Fantasy Bloom. Now there's a couple of different ways of doing this or using this. And Lisa has already sort of preempted that for us. It's a Fantasy Bloom, so it isn't a particular flower, but what she's done, she's designed it so that the petals or the flowers can actually be used to create butterflies, and I shall try and do both of those for you as well today. Now this particular card, have I made the card blank? Yeah, again I'm making just a C6 card, so it's another small card, but there's nothing to say that you can't really go to, you know, if you can go to town, you can use and create an 8x8 card with these. Just die cut as many blooms as you need, as many of the flowers as you need to create the space. And you can really go to town. You can use them to layer up around apertures and things. It would be, you just got so many options. You can use them to embellish any of your layering stencils that have got flowers on as well, because a lot of the flowers are quite similar, and you'll be able to insert some of these layering dies into some of the layering stencils that we have and make those layering stencils even more 3D by using silicone glue and 3D foam, things like that. And again, I'm sure that's something along the lines that the design team will do, or possibly I can even do in future videos for you as well. So this card I'm doing now is basically white on white, and I've just added a little pop of colour with red. I'm using the Slimline HARLEQUIN bubble set, which I'm not sure is in stock, but any layering or nesting layering would work for you. So I've just created the layers in white, and I'm just going to, come on glue. All right, I'm just going to add this to the card base. So we have the base layer. Lay that flat, and then I hand cut actually, or just use a trimmer just to add an extra layer in, because I just wanted a little pop of colour, just a little pop of red, but not too much. So I'm just going to add that separate extra layer into the centre there, and then these two layers are actually cut from the Slimline nesting set there. So I'm just going to put them both on individually. I just like the idea of having the texture in the background, but I didn't want too much red going on. So that just gives us a really nice small little layer there. I'm not really a red person, but I'm not quite sure. Well, I think we've got red on Lisa's chart there, haven't we, on the front of the packaging. So I think that's where I was thinking with that. So I should just add a little bit of glue just to add this lattice down. I think the beauty of these layering dies, actually these floral ones, that they will go with absolutely everything that you have, both decorative embossing folders and your layering dies and nesting dies that you would already have in your stash. So we've got a really nice background sitting there. And then let me show you the dies that we have for this. Now there appears, actually, and I say appears, to be less dies in this particular set. But if you actually look, the dies this time are actually joined. So we have actually 4 shapes. This particular die itself will actually cut out 4 shapes for you, as will this one, which is a little bit smaller. So they are 3 sizes, and then this one will cut out 4 dies for you, but it's just that little bit larger. So it gives you all the layering options. So just in this little set of metal here, we can actually cut out 12 die cuts for you. And then we have the separate one for the leaves. So it appears to be less dies, but you still get just as much die cutting potential from this. So I've used the dies to cut out the leaf there, and again you can see just how fine the detail is, but there is also embossed detail on there as well, so we can have that sitting on there. And if I show you the die, you can see these little sections on the leaves will actually what gives you the embossing detail, and we have some of that embossing detail on the florals as well. So I've already die cut my flowers, and basically the way that the flower is laid out, we have this one die will create 1 flower for you. So you can basically create the 3 different blooms with a set. So if you only wanted to use large flowers, then you would only use the large die for that, obviously. So I'm going to create these. So we take, let me just show you the different dies in different shapes there. So this would be the back of, oh, you've disappeared. There we go. So we have the different flowers here. This would be the back of the flower. This is the center of the flower. And then this is the front of the flower, like so. So what I've done, I'm going to swap out this center one with a white center. So we're going to have the red and white flowers. I did cut some in yellow, and it would help if I use the ones from the right size flower. So we can layer up the flowers like that. And I think I will stick with the red and white theme on there. It makes it look really fresh. So to lay these up, quite simply, I'm just going to add the glue on this layer, just a little bit on the bottom, and just layer the flower on top. Now these would again look lovely if you use perhaps silicone glue or smaller foam pads in this as well, and just create some real dimension. And the design team, I'm sure, would have done this. And the person who springs to mind when I think this sort of die is Tina. Tina Foster makes some amazing dies, as does all the design team, but there's just something that Tina can do with layering flowers like this that is just magic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her designs come through as well. So I think what I'm going to do, I shall create these little flowers. I think I've mixed these up a little bit too much, actually. Oh no, that one works. So all I've done beforehand, just to prep, I just die cut all the different size flowers with all the different colours that I thought I might like to use in my design. So we have that, and then the smallest flower we'll make, and then the smallest background. And then actually, because we do have these wonderful envelopes that Lisa gives us our dies in, anything that I'm not going to use, and you can see I've got a few things sitting there, I can just put in the envelope, and I've already have them die cut for next time. So you can just see just how quick these flowers really layer together. And then we can just use the stems on the card there just to layer those up. Actually, before I finish, I did say that these little dies cut 4, and we've just used the 3 petals, but you can see these tiny little bits here these are extra little details that can go onto the bottom of the flower. And I think what I might do, yeah, I might use the yellow ones. And they come in 3 different sizes, and they sit right at the base of these flowers here. So excuse my fingers if I'm going to get in the way. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue at the base of each of these flowers. And actually, by using the yellow, you'll see exactly where they go. And I'm just going to put those details just at the base of the flower there. And you get they are tiny, so you will need to use your tweezers. But they just give that little bit of finishing detail off, which is just, as I've always said, these little finishing details, you don't know that you're going to miss them until you add them. And then you think, yes, that's exactly what I needed, just to finish off that detail. So you can see just how beautiful that flower is there. I haven't got a sentiment to put onto that one, but I don't necessarily think that needs it. They are really, really pretty flowers. And it really just stick them onto a white card and just allow them to pop. And say the beauty in those is there. And I do have these bits left over, so I'm going to move those aside. But again, I'm going to stick with the Fantasy Bloom here, and I'm going to concentrate on the butterfly design that Lisa has highlighted with this. So I'm going to bring in the next card for you, and I thought go purple. So they are so pretty, nice and high. Hi Linda, in sunny Somerset as well. So we have this design here, so it looks very different, but then using the splash of colour, so I've moved on to this cardstock, or this brand new cardstock, and I've used some of my nesting squares. So I've die cut the solid colour in the lilac, and then the pattern paper to sit on top of that. It takes the guesswork out of matting and layering and finding colours that coordinate together, because you can literally just pull out pretty much any 2 pieces of cardstock in there, a solid and a plain, and you're good to mat and layer. So it makes a fabulous background. Now, what I haven't done with any of these is actually used the cardstock to die cut my flowers from. That would be, again, something that would be perfect to do, I think. And I've mentioned earlier on that these 1 sheet of card is ideal. You can fussy, or you can choose where you die cut your flowers. If you wanted to use some of the green, you can just die cut perhaps this section out with your green, obviously before I cut it down to size, and that you'd have your leaf from there. And then you can die cut either just in the purple section and you get your purple leaves, or if you want that other colours, then you can sort of spread that across the purple and the pink, and then you get that seamless blend and multicolour look to all your die cuts. That's what I really like about this type of card. So I'm using a greeting from the Birthday Hugs XL Sentiments. This is the one I was mentioning from before. So I've just used the happy, and I'm going to put this on first, and I'll just show you why in a second. So I've just die cut this from white. Simple, straightforward. It looks nice and clean and fresh against those purples. So I'm just going to put that on first. Again, these tweezers have been my best friend. And actually what I like about these backgrounds is the fact that Lisa hasn't been frightened to put a little bit of orange on there. If you was creating this background yourself, you think, yeah, I want a pink and a purple background, and I think you may just get stuck in just using pink and purple. But I think by adding these other colours, a green, a darker blue and orange, it just lifts it. You wouldn't necessarily think of doing that yourself if you were inking it, I don't think. So all I'm going to do, I still have some of these Lisa's stickers here, which I've had for years. I think possibly right from when Lisa first launched Lisa HORTON CRAFT herself. So I've still got them sitting there, and you may well do too. So I'm just going to use that to finish off, and I'm just going to put the happy birthday, happy birthday. So I think that's perfect. And actually, you could just give that as a card, couldn't you? The paper is just so pretty. But I am using the Fantasy Bloom, and I've done lots of die cutting, as you can see here. And this time I've used pinks, purples, and a navy blue, which I thought was a lovely colour palette, particularly that works with this as well. And I've made up lots of butterflies, and if you can see here, I've had some fun with these. Lisa shows you here that you can use exactly the same configuration of layers as you do the flowers and the petals, and you can just put them back to back using the centre part in the body as the butterfly's body, and then you have a butterfly there. But you can also go to town and just create lots of different layers. So you can see the way that I've layered this one here. And I haven't been too careful in lining up either. You can do. I've created another butterfly here with just 2 layers. And I've only put a little bit of glue just at the bottom of the flower like I was doing before. So it does give you the option also to just give a little bit of movement and bend up some of those leaves if you wanted to, or some of those wings if you wanted to, and just create a little bit of dimension. So this butterfly, which I think works equally as well, and as long as you, well, if you put a contrast in the body into the centre there, that works. Again, I've used 3 layers here with the pink in the centre, and what I was hoping to do is just to layer these butterflies onto the back of the cardstock there. So not a flower in sight really, so totally different feel to what we've created there. So we can add a little butterfly, and I think I've got enough pieces left over here that I will just put together another butterfly. So what you want to do is make sure that you cut each one of these sets twice, because obviously you want to have each set of wings to be the same size. So I'm going to start pairing them up, and I do want to go a little bit smaller than what I've got already. So I'm going to pick out these 2 layers, which are a little bit smaller. And then actually what I might do, I'm just going to use, I've just picked up some of the white die cuts I had from this card here, but I don't have 2 sets of wings the same size, because I think a white butterfly would look nice. But what I can do, let's have a look what I've got here. We have a purple one there. I'm just delving in to see what I have available to me. Okay, we have because I mixed all of these up and I didn't make sure that I had 2 sets of everything of the same size, I don't think. But what I might do, yeah, I can make that work. I can make that work. So I am going to use these white wings also. Can you see what I'm doing there? Okay. So I'm going to layer the pink onto the, hang on a minute. That's what I can do. Right, I am just working with what I have. So the sizes aren't quite the same, but if I pair each of these sizes, there we are, that works. We can layer those up. Okay, so ideally you would create each pair to be the same size. I don't have that with me at the moment, so but I'm just going to make it work, which is the same as what you would do as well at home. And I'm just going to layer those two petals together, so we have a white and a pink together, and I'm going to do the same on this side. So these two sets of wings are exactly the same shape, but say this is how you can just sort of mix and match and make it work for you. There is no sort of real right and wrong, particularly when you're creating something like a butterfly. And then I'm going to join these two dark blue pieces. So I'm just going to overlap the base of those particular flowers or petals. Make sure that they join so we have a one piece, and then I can add these pink and white ones on top of that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the base of that one, a little bit of glue on the base of that one. So I can layer that one like so. And that one like so. So we have a cute little butterfly there, with a little bit of white in. Now I think what is the defining factor of this just turns it into the butterfly, and it's the smallest of pieces. It really is. Just one of these little sections here, which are easily lost, but try to keep track of them when you do die cut them. And I can just add that into the center, and I think that just makes us identify that as a butterfly as opposed to two sets of petals joined together. So apologies, there is a little bit of glue there that you can see seeping out, but obviously that will dry clear. And why not even find some flat back gems? You can even put those in the centers of your flowers as well. But what we can do, we can add this to the card like so. I've probably cut too many there. There we are. And you can be able to shape them up a little bit so you can have them with a bit of dimension. And I'm just going to add those to the card like that. So a completely different look to the layering of flowers that this die set was originally designed to do. Oh, we have one there. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put that one on there as well. There we are. We'll do that, I think. Like so. There we are. So it's a completely different card. And we still have lots of little bits left over, which will be ideal to mix and match with the other ones that I've die cut, and we will be able to make lots more flowers. And we can either do that and then store them all made up, or we can just put them straight into the folder as they are, and we can use them next time around. So I'll leave that with you there today. I mean, I would have been here all afternoon if I were to show you the other dies, but hopefully it's just whetted your appetite a little bit as to what's coming on Thursday. And say Lisa will show you much more. I don't know how long she's planning on being live for. You know what Lisa's like, she likes to chat, so I think it's as long as you want her there for, I reckon, within reason. I reckon it'll be a really good evening to tune into. So yeah, I can just today was all about just showing you how versatile these products are, and just how much fun you can have with all of these. And just by showing you two of the sets in action and the cardstock, hopefully you can see the potential on what you can make with these. Oh, hi Judy, 7 o'clock in the morning in Abbotsford. Oh, thank you for joining me. That is very early for you, but it's great we are getting such an international customer base now. It's really great, because if you are then start posting what you make into the group as well, we have such a wide variety of ideas from everybody. It's really fascinating for us to see. So it's really nice to see, you know, how different people use these things. So I think I'll leave that there for you today. I've taken up quite enough of your afternoon. I shall pop up the details again for the live on Thursday. It's 7 o'clock UK time, and you can see there the corresponding times for international viewers as well. So hopefully you'll be able to tune in. I think the offers will be available for 2 days. Don't quote me on that, but I think from talking to Lisa that the any offers that are available on this live will be available for 2 days after it's finished. As I say, the items are going to be available on the website, but they could be at different price than if they come out of the offers. So, but it's worth tuning in on Thursday just to see what it's all about and have fun. So thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. I've really enjoyed that, and I shall see you all on Thursday, no doubt. Thanks a lot, everyone.